like to tell you that there are ways that you can recognize that you are on the path of the spiritual awakening. There are some signs that you can look out for. The first sign is that your behavior starts to change for the better. And people around you starts to noticing it. They start to tell you like, oh, you look different. You don't get stressed like so easily anymore. You don't lash out so much anymore. You know, things like that. Your behavior starts to change and reflecting that newfound sense of inner growth. And is not only noticeable for you, people close to you will notice it. Sign number 2 is that your emotions become more deepen. You become more human in a way, like more authentically human. It's like you connect on a deeper level with your emotions, possibly in a way that you've never before. It's like you feel emotions more deeply and more authentically. You don't repress your emotions. You express them. You allow yourself to be vulnerable, which is actually very powerful. Sign number 3 is that your spiritual values and even concerns take priority over materialistic pursuits. It's like you shift your priorities from having things to more being things. The way you value life, it's more on a soul connection or spiritual connection way, rather than keeping up with the Johnstons, for example, or believing that your self-worth is somehow attached to the things that you have or how successful you are. So there's this shift of perspective and priorities. Another sign is that your inner world becomes the priority in your life. You start to wanting to deepen your connection with your spiritual essence, making, for example, little steps to implement spiritual practices in your life, or to give yourself the space to be introspective, to reflect in your inner well-being. And maybe before you never did that. Maybe before you never created space for your inner being. And now that becomes a priority. Also, another sign is either inner freedom. You start to be aware how real inner freedom is and how you value it. And when I mean inner freedom is when you start to break free from the ego-driven limitations, from those narratives, from those limiting beliefs. Is when you start to do the inner work, start to heal those wounds, start to become more aware of these things, to break free from it. Eventually, again, layers and layers will need to be peeled, but you work on it because, again, your inner world becomes a priority. And so your inner freedom becomes a priority. Is like a non-negotiable. You work through those things to feel more peace and to feel more calm and to feel more grounded and connected with life and with yourself. And another sign is that you become honest with yourself. You start to take radical responsibility for your actions, for your choices, for your experiences, for your behaviors, for your thoughts. Instead of projecting and blaming it onto other people, you start to really take radical responsibility. Be honest with yourself and yeah, work through it. Work through it. You, like, one of the changes in your behavior for the better is this, is when you start to no longer need, and sometimes it's hard, but you feel like, I'm not going to project this onto other people. Let's be honest. I have a part in this and I'm taking responsibility for it. And you'll feel like your relationship starts to change as well, like for the better, because when we own our behaviors, our actions, our choices, we start to actually see as well when other people are projecting blame onto us and guilt onto us, to like take the weight of that baggage from them. And then we have more compassion because we can see the trauma response. We can see that they are reacting, that they are not taking responsibility and responding to that responsibility. They are actually reacting to it and projecting. As we progress in this spiritual path, things will slowly shift. And sometimes it will, or it might feel lonely. Sometimes you feel like you are all alone in this. People no longer understand you, or people start to actually say to you, you're different, you changed. And that is because you are changing. That is the truth. That's because your vibration is changing, your priorities is changing. And people were used to you being a certain way, and they had a sense of control over it. And when you change, people lose that sense of control. People lose that, it becomes very unpredictable for them, or like they no longer know how to communicate or behave around you, or or expect from you, because you changed. And they might take a while to get to understand you. And those people that are meant to be in your life, they will stay. It's also worth to remember that in our relationships, there are people that come to your life for a reason, stay for a season, or stay for a lifetime. Not everyone that comes into your life will stay for the lifetime. Those who will, they will adapt, and also they'll get inspired by your growth, and they will evolve as you evolve, because your vibrations are always in the same line. But the people that comes for a reason, meaning some people come to support you through a hard time, and then they go into their path. You go to your path. Other people come into your life to trigger you, to make you grow, to challenge you, and then you part ways. And then there are people that come for a season as well. They stay for a bit, and then, life happens, and, you move countries, or you get married, or you have children, or you move schools, and things change. And that is part of the process of life. So what I want to tell you is, when you feel like you're going through this spiritual awakening and you feel that some people don't understand you and guilt trip you to feel like you no longer are the same, you kind of became detached, or you distanced yourself, or whatever, communicate with them what's going on. If they are meant to stay for a lifetime, they will understand, they will hear you. They might take a while, but they will hear and they will stay. Those are not meant to be in your path anymore, and your vibrations are not aligning anymore, you part ways, and that is okay. And also know that you don't need to go through this journey alone. Try to find other light workers, other people who have experienced their own awakening, or that are going through the same challenges as you. Because when you are in a tribe that understands you and sees you for who you are, for who you're going through, they help diminish your fears, and they actually open space for you to express your higher self. They create a safe space for you to share your truth, and that helps you so much. If you would like to be part of a community that, shares the same challenges, that going through the same, soul path, and you long for a tribe that understands you, feel free to join the Facebook community, the Realm of the Goddess. I will put the link in the description. Feel free to join us. And have that support. You don't have to feel alone. Let me know if you recognized any of these signs. All the signs I talked about. Are you in a spiritual awakening path? Let me know in the comments. Also, I'd like to share with you that if you are on this spiritual path and you want to bring more spiritual wellness into your life, and you struggle to commit to a spiritual practice, or to find a spiritual practice that aligns with you, that feels like it complements you rather than stress you, I'm open up a challenge, a 14-day spiritual wholeness challenge. I'm taking part of that challenge. I created this because I feel like since the beginning of the year, I have so much going on in my personal life that I've been putting my spiritual practice in the back burner. And as a spiritual guide or a soul guide, spiritual practices are part of my work. The way for me to work on my intuition, channel messages, be a guiding light for others is, having a spiritual practice that I do consistently, and that helps me so I can help others. And I've been struggling with that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm in the same journey. Again, the ego comes and say, oh, you have other things to do. You have other priorities. You don't have time for this. And apart from my soul writing that I do every night, meditations and, mindful walks and other things are very sporadic, are not consistent. And I want to bring that consistency into my life. And my soul has been asking me to bring that consistency into my life. So if you two are on the same thing, like if you two are struggling with the same thing, join me. Let's do this together. I created a PDF that has like 14 days with each of these 14 days have a spiritual practice that's very simple, very easy to do. It's not going to take you a long time to do because we know that we're short in time, and that's one of the excuses the ego feeds us. Is like, you don't have time for this. So if it's 5-10 minutes, we can manage to do it. And the idea is to bring consistency. It's 14 days and beyond. So don't feel like it's only 14 days. But for 14 days, I'll give you, and I will be doing this with you, steps. So like prompts. Today we do this. The other day we do this. For 14 days, you have that prompt to help you. And it's a way as well of you finding which spiritual practices you like, what lights you up. Because when it's something that lights up your soul, then it's very easy to implement it. And then it has a tracker as well. It has a tracker, so we can track for those 14 days and beyond. If we've been doing these spiritual practices, and they are not random. These spiritual practices are based on the 3 pillars of the spiritual well-being, which is mind, body, and soul. So these spiritual practices are there to raise your vibration and to bring into your life this and balance these 3 pillars, so you have a more spiritual wholeness and wellness. So if you are interested, keep your eyes out for the link. My idea is you'll get emails every 2 days to remind you of the challenge. The idea is to have that accountability, so we can do this together. I invite you to be on the Facebook group, The Realm of the Goddess, so we can share our tracks, our progress, motivate each other, cheer ourselves up, just keep ourselves motivated. And I might go live every day for 5 minutes to talk about, during those 14 days, to talk about the prompt and remind you of the prompt. And so we can do this together. Really, like, having accountability, it's so important. And I'd like you to join me, really. I don't want to do this alone. What about if we do a revolution and many people come together and do this together? That'll be so amazing. So keep an eye out for the link. I will put it in the description as soon as I have the link for you to download the PDF and to be part of the challenge, to actually get the emails as well. So it has to be a link where you then go into the email list so you can get the emails as well every 2 days. I'm not going to send you every day. I don't want to annoy you. I don't want to fill your inbox. It's just to be your buddy, right? It's just so you know that you're not alone, that I'm here with you doing this challenge with you, and to remind you, like, yeah, today we have this, and to push you to move forward and to keep that consistency, because I know so many of us struggle with being consistent. So if this is you, put a comment below and say, yes, I'm in, yes, I'm in. Or put your hand up, like an emoji with a hand up, and I will let you know as soon as I have that link.